Tony Kelly is stuck in the middle of it right now.
Yeah.
So,
When supposed to be here?
yeah, because we have the insurance signing today. So he has all the paperwork.
Maybe he should get Nexus.
And so, we'll have to approve him about
Doesn't
that.
he live in one of those towns kind of on the eastern side?
No.
Yeah.
Everson?
Everson.
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 Silly if he doesn't. It's silly for anybody not to have those.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Very good.
Surprisingly, a lot of people can't have.
Can you speak up a little louder?
I mean, I guess one DUI.
And I'm happy that's.
A felony, any kind of a felony.
Let's slow things
The
down.
DUI comes
It's a
out.
felony.
We got over in 2 years.
It's not in the United States. Yes, you can.
Nexus is Nexus, that's two of their orders. Yeah, I think about our next door neighbor, 19 years old, when he was 19.
I had a friend who was 20.
Yeah. You think, well, that's all right, I don't care. I don't want this is going to give anyone a choice.
Yeah.
You understand
Because
that?
you gave that to him.
Yeah, you
But
understand
now
that?
you paid it with your credit card, so give it,
We're waiting.
when you give me that.
Oh, thank you.
Use the insurance.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I would have missed that.
Yeah,
That's why you're here.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
yeah.
What's your office?
Yeah.
You
got it.
Oh, you're such a spoiled brat.
Okay, 1,600.
Okay, now,
4 o'clock, $1,600. Folks, good afternoon, thanks for being here.
Chief,
We'll open up the
we're recording,
meeting.
right?
Call to order. We'll hear public comments.
Red
Anybody?
document.
Nobody from the newspaper here? No visitors want to talk? Thank you. Approval of the minutes of last month, July 9th this year. Go over the minutes.
I have read the minutes. Have you? Yep.
Yeah, I think they're true.
Yeah, they were fine. I'd make a motion for approval.
She did that, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any further discussion? Motion is approved, 3-0. Thank you. Next one. Suzanne, go ahead.
I had suggested before the meeting that you guys sign this pension stuff for Ernie, so he doesn't, I mean, he can stay at the meeting if he wants, but if he wants to go or has to go, then he can. Okay, so this is, Ernie called the pension board and got the information, and they sent him these papers.
Okay.
So you'll see, yeah, so that's where you sign, and then,
Yeah, that's fine. And then here, so Chairman of the board, Michelle has to sign there.
yeah, okay.
And then walking District 5 is that one.
Could we explain to the public what this is? I don't think.
Go ahead, yeah, Chief, why don't you explain, and I have a question for you. When were you serving here, Ernie? How long ago?
I retired in '97.
97? Oh, okay.
How many years did you have?
Well, I started when I was 16. That's when the old siren used to go off and everybody used to jump in the cars and run. First, I think my first call was a beach fire down by that fire.
Was it beach fire? Yeah, okay. Great, well, thank you again. As before, thank you for your volunteer time here with District 5. Truly appreciate it, and I'm glad that we can help you gain some advantage through the Border Volunteer Firefighters. Thank you for your pension. Yeah.
Thank you, much appreciated.
So, furthering that, every qualified member here that meets certain requirements set by the State Board of Volunteer Firefighters and Reserve Officers, we pay a pension to them on a yearly basis. So every year I go through our training records and we have to validate those who have met the standards and those who have not. So those who do not meet the standard aren't able to get credit for that particular year. Those who do meet the standard get credit for that year. So right now, let's just say it's 10% of
So you just
call volume
fill that out.
or 10% of trainings. That would be one example of what they have to meet. The department, which I do internally, the department can set higher standards than what the State Board of Volunteer Firefighters has in place, but not for their pension. My standards within the organization for volunteerism here are much more than what it takes to gain a pension through the Board of Volunteer Firefighters, just because we need the participation of our members. So as long as they're meeting my membership requirements here, they're able to have no issues with meeting the yearly requirement for the Board of Volunteer Firefighters. So again, thank you very much. It's great to see a past member of the organization come in and collect on that.
And he's still healthy.
Yeah,
That's great.
I have to apologize, I have to leave because I want Heather to notarize this other form.
Sure.
I'd like to get that away, but.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Suzanne,
Okay, I'm ready.
go for it.
Current month payables total $21,679.87, which includes a few items to point out. Volunteer payouts that are included in warrants total $3,405. This reflects July 2014 activity. Chief Carlton and myself did a payroll audit for the calendar year 2013. We found payment for October 24th, 2013 practice missing on 6 of the volunteers. The chief feels that this related to the upgrade of emergency reporting. These payments, which are $13 each, are included in this payroll. There is a payment to Shell Oil for $1,597.93, a payment to U.S. Bank Corp, our credit card, in the amount of $87.5107, which has payments on it to Ideation Design Group for $2,004, Life Assist for $1,189, and Municipal Emergency for $26.73. Chief Carlton can identify those if you wish. And not on the credit card, we also have payment to National Hose Testing for $2162.75 and Municipal Emergency for $1,296. Payroll for August totals $13,780.67. This represents 1 month's salary for Chief Carlton, 1 month's salary for Assistant Chief Shields. There was 1 meeting for 3 commissioners. The secretary had 1 meeting. Volunteer payouts totaled $6,605, and so the total payout for volunteers is $10,010. I have a request to void a warrant number 948264 in the amount of $750. This was a duplicate payment to King County Emergency Medical. I've put the financials for July in your information on your desk. We require motions to approve the warrant request covering current month vouchers and current month payroll, and request to void a warrant. You're welcome.
Gentlemen,
I'm going to ask an obvious question here, going back to, I guess it's warrants, emergency, let me see, municipal emergency, okay, for $2,600.
That's on the credit card.
Okay, and then also, then right
invoice.
below, you talk about municipal emergency again.
Yeah, it's a second invoice.
Which wasn't on the credit card.
It wasn't paid on the credit card.
Okay,
It's a new invoice.
I'm sorry, it's just an obvious question, so I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
So municipal emergency is, the 2,600 is for the shirts. So deciding what our personnel are going to wear, just to let you know, the blues that we have, the pants we wear, and the blue shirts that match our pants that we wear our badge on, have embroidered our names on as well. The shirt alone is $140 because it's Nomex. The pants are basically about $160. So it's about $300 to outfit just with 1 shirt and 1 pair of pants. each firefighter. And each firefighter normally gets 3 sets of clothing when they come on this organization. So these shirts here is what we're going to be going to in the future for our regular duty wear. And these shirts, this shirt that I'm wearing right now runs about $30. The embroidery is another $10, so about $40. So it takes off $100 per person per shirt when you're talking about outfitting each member that comes into the organization, especially those members that we don't have uniforms for. Then we have to buy new ones. So we recycle uniforms to different members. We have them washed and things, but other than that, so this is what you're going to be seeing in this color. Just the 2600 was for 5,600 of these shirts, and they're embroidered, and the commissioners will be getting these shirts as well.
I don't
know about you and you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot cheaper if they get oil or something on it. It's a lot cheaper to replace than a $140 Nomex shirt, and the cost just continues to rise as well.
Good decision.
The upfront cost is what you see. I mean, it always takes cost to get it started, but from this point forward, we should definitely be saving on uniform status.
Gentlemen, any further questions on the financial end of it?
I would make a 3-part motion, or 3 motions at once. First, Jeff, did you have anything? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. Current month payables, to approve current month payables, $21,679.87. That's one motion. Then to approve our payroll of $3,000. Nope, sorry.
13.
Down.
13,000.
13. I'll get there. I'm sorry. Where am I down? Okay, that's my fault. I didn't mark it. $13,780.67. That's the second motion for approval. And the third motion is to approve a request to void warrant number 948264 for $750. That's 3 motions. Looking for a second.
Yep.
I hear no objection. I would actually split the resolutions into thirds.
Well, that's what we're going to do. We'd like to stand aside at the beginning. 3 motions.
No, there will be 3 motions.
Yeah. We're okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't like the idea of bundling them.
No. Different amounts should be different, different motions. Well, good. Are you seconding the motion?
I am.
Good. Any further discussion on this? Are we all in favor? No?
Aye.
Motion passed. Motion's passed. Thank you. That was that. Is there anybody want to talk about the budget? Any questions? Jeff, have you got a question or Stan?
No, I reviewed the budget last month. I haven't reviewed this month because we just received them, but so far everything seems to be
Any
going well.
lingering questions from last month, things that came up during the time, the
No,
last month? No?
no, everything's fine.
No, everything is swimming along slowly.
Slowly.
Summer doldrums, there
Huh?
aren't a lot of issues before us in summer.
Yeah.
So I'm not one to just fill up paper.
Yeah, you okay with the things going so far?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will take that off the agenda. We did earnings, that was item D5. Chief correspondence, anything?
No official correspondence to report.
Okay. Chief's report.
So Chief's report for August 2014, which is covering the month of July 2014. Point of information, a few things I'd like to go over. Just a reminder to the public, we have the fire department open house coming up on August 23rd. And we're doing a combined open house with the clinic this year. So the clinic is also going to be open so people can walk through and see the new design, the new paint, the new flooring, and how they have the clinic set up, especially if you haven't been a patient there recently or since it's been remodeled. So they've done a really, really good job over there. The 2013 internal payroll audit. Do you want to discuss anything on that, Suzanne? You discussed the $13, but anything else?
No, I can't. It was painful.
So,
The
if
pain
you
was
remember,
starting to go away.
yeah, if you remember the internal audit through 2012, when we did the first round, we had, if I remember correctly, over $20,000 of issues with that audit.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to report that we put a new system in place, and myself and Chief Shields, we go through and we signature everything that comes through, we double check it, we make sure everything's correct to our ability. And this year we ran into a $13 issue that drove us insane when we were in here doing the audit. And what happened last June with the emergency reporting, which is the system we utilize to input all of our incidents, our payroll, personnel, it's our entire system on my side, not Suzanne's side. And that's what we print from. So we go in there, we print payroll off, we give it to Suzanne. Something happened in June because they went to a new operating system at emergency reporting, and they had to migrate all of our past information into and over into the new system. And 6 people, I think, close to 6 people, maybe up to 10 people, we had a $13 issue on. And it was 2 practices. One practice in September, and the other practice was October 24th of 2013. Now these people, what we do is we scan every record, every training sheet that we have, we scan into our computer system now, thanks to Fadi setting that up and backing it up for us. But we don't have to have file cabinets full of paper going and holding all these things for us. It's all stored in the cloud, off-site and internally. But we were able to go back to that specific training, print off the sign-up sheet, pull it up, and make sure these individuals were actually at that practice before I went back and paid them the $13 that they were supposedly owed. So we verified they were owed that, and that's what Suzanne reported on her financial report that I added into this month's payroll sheet for them, and it's tagged as EMS training October 2013, so it's specified with the net payroll sheet. So $13, 6 people, great. Somewhere in April, May 2013, we were going over to paychecks, or working June of that. Yeah, it was in June, and we missed Aaron Jackson, one of our volunteers, and also Dylan Smith, who has moved on to Burnaby. For some reason, they didn't get pulled into the first payroll in June for those 2 months in April, May. So we ended up owing Aaron Jackson $26, and we ended up owing Dylan Smith $203, if I remember correctly. So all said and done, it was right around $300. The $13, not our issue, it was a transfer of information issue, but the 203 and 26, for some reason, we just missed those 2 individuals, and that's why we do the internal audit, and we caught it, and they're owed, so they're going to be getting those paychecks. But to go from tens of thousands, over 20,000 in 2012, to $300, I thought we did a pretty good job. So know that every year we'll be doing internal audits on our payroll system, and hopefully this year Suzanne and I are going to get ready to do the first 6 months of 2014, just to save us some time and pain if we have a $13 issue at the end of this year too. But hopefully 2014 will be even better, and we'll get it down to 0.
Thank you, Chief.
Hydrant painting is underway. I already have around 10 people that have called in. reserve their hydrants going over to Nielsen's. I'm giving, I budgeted $25 per hydrant. We have about 110 hydrants left on the point. The issue this year seems to be people finding the hydrants that are left because they're not the standout hydrants that you see on the main roads. They're tucked back away in places. The firefighters went around and cleared the hydrants. So we'll see how many we get done. People are excited. I've been hearing a lot of good things. And we'll hopefully have enough to make another calendar. So if I end up with just 12 hydrants, I'll make a calendar of 12 months in there. So that's on its way. And then the burn signs that you guys have seen now at the border. So the burn signs, it says burn ban, and it'll be off or on. And we have one exact same sign here on the building as well. That's part of the cost from the ideation that was listed in the financial report. And the wonderful thing about this is it puts people on notice now. And we have a lot of people coming up to us, asking us what they can burn, if it's a complete burn ban. That's what I want. I want people coming to us and figuring out what's going on within the fire rating and safety area. So right now, residential land clearing burns are still not allowed. Recreational burns are. And it could be different than state. State parks actually put a ban the other day on their fire pits. So Lighthouse Park, any state park, Whatcom County parks, that might be affected a little bit differently, but that's on Park Ranger Ben over there to instill that enforcement. So when all burns are allowed, that burn ban sign will say off. So anytime a burn ban or one burn is not allowed, it'll say on. Okay, but then I want the people to come to us or ask the membership that I have out in the field questions about it so they can be educated by our membership as well, what they should burn and what they should be burning. The training signs that you see around the room now, all of these signs were made through ideation. They're basically the same as the older signs, but I made more of them. All of these signs come from our ITAC manual, which is Incident Command Manual that is for Whatcom County. And all organizations in Whatcom County are following the things that you see up on the wall. So these aren't things that I came up as the fire chief. These aren't my ideas. These are already put in place by the Chiefs Association and the Training Association of Whatcom County following what has been done down in Seattle. So everything we have here, the reason why I picked these specific ones is they're integral in our safety and our day-to-day functions. And for firefighters to be able to come in here or the public to be able to come in here and read these signs, it helps them have the reminder of what's really important. If you can look up here on the front wall, the top sign is something we live by on a day-to-day basis. We should never lose a firefighter for stuff. So no firefighter should be lost for a building either. We should always be going in if we have a viable rescue. And a viable rescue is somebody that we know is still alive in the environment that is poised to us. So if the house is fully involved, it's very unlikely that the person is still alive within that structure. So that would not be a viable rescue for us, and we would not risk firefighters to go into that structure either. So please take a look at the signs. It's really going to help our membership to see these on a daily basis, a weekly basis when they're here, and remind everybody in the public the risks that we do take. Apparatus, I don't have anything to report on any of the apparatus, any of our engines, battalion, utility, any of our aids, or the chief's vehicle. Member roster, we still have 41 members. We have 29 Canadian, 6 Point Roberts members, and 6 county. We have 3 paramedics. Most likely I have 2 more paramedics coming on staff. And right now I'm working the numbers with Assistant Chief Shields. And I'm coming up with, I don't know if the budget will be able to handle all of my shifts, but when I'm down south, working down in Ferndale, my goal is to have a paramedic replace me here for that 24-hour period. So that would be from 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning until noon the following day. And that would allow me time to get off shift and get back up here and still provide that paramedic level coverage. So hopefully the budget will have some room within that. When I do 2015 budget, I'll look at that a little bit more seriously. But hopefully I can get at least 4 of those days covered through the end of the year. and provide that. Now, I want to point out that we increased EMTs because we had some EMTs pass their national registry and get state certified. I also increased from 1 advanced EMT to 4 because we had 3 new advanced EMTs get certified too. Our 4th one is still in the process. He's going to be finishing up hopefully in the next month or 2, and then he'll be on staff as well. So we're going in the right direction there. We went from, I think, 11 last month to 16 more, or to 5 more EMTs this month, and 1 to 4 advanced EMTs. And Fadi, I'd like to congratulate Fadi on that. He's actually one of our new advanced EMTs. So if you guys need IDs or practice, he's the person that needs the practice. So you can come over and offer up an arm or something for us. Volunteer hours, 2,363. Volunteer payroll, if everyone is getting paid, 11,251. And that's something to point out that it gives you an idea of what it would take to run this organization. And we don't have the 6 or 8 people here on a daily basis. But if we did, we'd be looking at $15,000 to $20,000 a month just on that payroll for volunteer stipends. So combined chief hours, I worked 130.5. Assistant chief worked 158.5. Total hours 289. We had 17 calls in the month of July. We had 7 EMS calls. We had 1 transport to St. Joseph's Hospital, and I'm going to need to talk to you on that because I have to make sure that our billing company has the new stipulations we did for transport fees in the county, and then we'll go ahead and send these off. So we might be transporting down once in a while now, as long as we still have 2 EMTs on the point to make that transfer. So I think I have a couple to give you, and then we'll send off to the building. Airlift Northwest, we had 1 patient taken by helicopter. We had 3 no transports, and we transported 2 patients to the Ferndale Fire Department. I'd like to point out that I was actually one of the paramedics on Medic 45 that came up and rendezvoused with Fadi that day, and this was on a patient that was having seizures. And our people did a very, very good job, and it was kind of funny stepping off where I was wearing my other uniform, stepping off and seeing my volunteers, and I'm a paramedic when I work down there, and they were calling me chief. I was seeing them like I'm a paramedic. Public service none, agency assist none. We had 8 fire classifications. We had 3 unauthorized burns, 1 power line incident, 2 water flooding incidents, and 1 fire alarm that was a false. Other 2 classified was that we were dispatched to a call and we were canceled before we arrived. That concludes my report.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions, anybody, for the chief? No. Unfinished business. I guess we're still waiting. Oh, Tony's there. How are you doing, man? Good. Yeah. Resolution number 21404. That's a resolution to formally declare surplus goods. We talked about that at the last meeting, but we missed that resolution. Now we have the resolution.
Michelle, do you have the items? Do you have the
they're
list?
on. They have them too.
They have 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so the list of items.
The list of items.
Page number 2.
Thank you very much. So the list of items, we had beds, cots with single mattress. We had 2 mattresses. We had 4. We had wooden bed frames, 3 metal bed frames. We had 1 whiteboard. We have 1, which is over here. Computer desk. We have 2 computer monitors. We still have 3. So if anybody needs an extra computer monitor, we still have those available. Computer printer is still out there as well. We have a very nice podium stand with 2 drawers. We have 11 fire helmets, and we have 1 hydraulic extrication power unit that's been out in the shed for many, many years for purposes. But the reason why I read this out is that I want to make a comment about the fire helmets. So the old fire helmets that are out of date for us, they usually, we can go to Firefighters Without Borders, and we can give them these fire helmets, and they can help other countries that don't have finances. So more than likely, these would go to into Mexico, and benefit a fire department there. So gear that is out of date for us, they still utilize. It can still help them, and especially when they don't have the finances. So most likely I'll be contacting such an organization and seeing if we can't get these across the border to benefit one of our international partners.
Okay. You wanna do a motion to accept this resolution?
I would make a motion to accept our surplus list.
Well, okay, how about wording it like that we accept resolution 2014-04?
Okay, I'd make the motion to accept resolution 2014-04 concerning surplus items to be avoided from the fire department.
Correct.
Okay, Jeff, any questions? And if you don't have any questions, you want to second that motion?
I'll second the motion.
Yeah. Any more discussion about this? All in favor?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed unanimously. Tony Kelly, welcome. Chief, you want to talk about this?
Tony, sorry for the borderline. Come on up.
Honorable Commissioners, Chief, Secretaries, Patrick, citizens of Point Roberts, I will be next in line for a Nexus Pass.
Who asked that question? Who asked that question?
I will be next in line. Commissioner Mersing has already encouraged me to do that. I've always said I'm so organized, I'll never get caught. I've said it for 50 minutes just now, and
Yes, the application's online.
I'm fine.
$50, 5 years, you're there.
I'll get it, so hopefully. Just a little quick order of business. We were invited by your Firefighters Association to come to the open house.
Absolutely.
And we come with a tent with advertising on it. So it's nothing to us to point out that we have a check here for $250 for advertising. For
Thank
the
you.
open house.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
And along those lines, I'd like to bring up for discussion, I don't see, he's paying for advertising, I don't see why he has to sit in the corner of the parking lot. I think he can be in line right up front here.
He gets to pick his spot.
Yeah. I see no reason to be over in the corner. You represent us extremely
It
well.
was our first time. We
Yeah.
didn't want to get blown away by the helicopter.
But, you know, I think it's fair. I mean, he's part of our organization. He comes up
Sure.
how many times a year to talk to us about insurance on a moment's notice without an Nexus card. Just-
Said the check isn't that big, you know?
He's saying you need to add to this check.
I'll have to work that through the budget. So I'm here,
Your work is greatly appreciated. I know you drive up and down all the time, that's not easy. But do get Nexus.
okay.
And while you're at it, if any staff's ever gonna follow you up here, make sure they get their Nexus at the same time. It's on your mind.
Yeah, all people have to have Nexus in your car. You use the Nexus lane.
Okay.
So it might just be something you do with your agency.
Maybe he likes to come along.
Yeah.
But one of us can drive up to the border when you're documents.
Sure, we could pick you up, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll work through this. So, well, I can thank you. I consider it a privilege to be your broker representative for the program. And I too am a volunteer firefighter, and I have been for 27 years. And so to see these reminders of what we do every day, if you don't mind, I'll probably take a few photographs of your inside of your hall here and share with others.
Sure.
Thank you for that. I sincerely appreciate every bit of information we train, and I enjoy working with your chief and your commissioners because you bring your A game to the table, and that's what we do. So thank you. And today, what I have is the documents for the transition to the insurance plan of your choice. It includes the application supplementals, cancellation of the other program and the offer for group life through the Insurance Services Insurance Program, which if you're not willing to accept the group life, they ask that you reject it. So, and one piece of good news, we always have to talk about the Terrorism Act that goes way back, and it's actually sunsetting this year, unless it's changed by our government. But we won't see that after December 31st. So there's some discussion about rejecting terrorism or accepting it too. So that's the news that I'm bringing here today.
Okay, so Tony, this is ESIP,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So Tony and I had a long conversation with two people, representatives of ESIP. And a number of things were discussed about knowing who we are, since we are deciding to change insurance programs. And ESIP was the choice of this board and also myself. And I think we're making a valid decision to go with them. And so the discussions have been made, and they understand who we are too.
Yeah, and those two people are Heather Freiberg and William Bill Dixon, and with years of experience and such. So thank you all for working through this. It's been, as you might be reminded, we've worked on this about 18 months. And,
Yeah.
so it comes to fruition on September 1.
Yeah, September 1, that's what I wanted to say, was that when this is signed, it'll be in effect September 1.
Is it paid for?
What's true?
Do you want to increase your check?
Well, that's advertising, strictly advertising.
Yeah, so once
Is
this
there an
goes,
invoice in there?
There will be, there's an amount that's shown. And,
Well, you know, because now I've put through the warrant, so this is not going to happen until,
and they understand that.
okay,
well,
all right,
thank you for bringing it up.
okay.
So, Tony, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming up.
So we'll go ahead and complete the signatures after the meeting.
Absolutely.
Right after.
And then also the cancellation of the CIAW program.
Now, just make sure you stick it out so we don't make any mistakes and you sign the right thing.
Last chance.
What is the life that you stated, the term life or the?
Oh, it is group term life. Forgive me, Suzanne. On this one. And what it does is it provides the volunteers with life insurance. It's a small amount. It provides them with a $10,000 benefit, which in the unlikely event that we lose a volunteer in the line of duty, that's a little bit to help them through. Might even take into consideration customary and ordinary funeral practices and a bit to go. So that's based on 30 members. The cost was $3,060, and it's an added benefit to the volunteers should they unfortunately, pass away.
And this is something we can do at any time. We can add on. We don't need to start it right at the beginning, but we can add on at any time.
It's certainly available, yes, indeed. They do ask that if you don't apply for it at this point, that we actually have a rejection.
You said the cost was $3,000 a year?
$3,060
A year.
a year for the membership. Each person has a $10,000 amount.
That was for
Until
30
what
members?
age?
But it's only 30 members.
So that would be $1,000 a member?
No.
No.
No, I'm sorry, 100.
Yeah.
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 So the rate is, and it has accidental death and dismemberment in the line of duty charge in there, basic life insurance, and so it rates out at 95 cents a thousand, so just under $1.
So it's term, so at what age does it disappear?
No reduction in benefits due to age.
Okay,
I'm reading right off the page.
okay.
No benefit exam due to age. So it's in place it's a group policy. It can't be taken with them, it stays here.
And the term is for our yearly.
Yeah, it's annual. Yeah.
Annual term.
Oh, okay.
So that's the benefit of people like me. Can I go just a little bit into life insurance? It's all
Sure.
age rated, and if you have your individual plan, it all gets underrated. This is just issued, and there's no underwriting, and it's the magic number is age 99. It's going to be 120 pretty quick, but actuarially we're about 99.
So let me ask you this, is our secretarial staff, our commissioners?
I'll double check on that, but I think it's all members.
Okay, so that's something, because right now we have 42. We have
So roughly the numbers would increase.
Yeah, 41 members, but we'd have to add another, and then that would increase the annual cost as well.
Just so you know, it's on the table, it's available, should
Okay.
And so from an errors and omissions standpoint, we like to when we do put these on the table and you decide not to, we like to have a signature either way. So
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, for the commissioners, in my opinion, I'd like to look into a little bit further, but I think it's something important that would be offered to you as well as commissioners, as well as Suzanne, Michelle, too. But with 30 members, the premium's going to go up with 42 plus the 5 of you.
Michelle and I would have to die at a meeting. I'm not going to the fire.
Tony, is this 24?
I think the basic life is not in the accidental death and dismemberment is line of duty, but the basic life is just life insurance.
Sure.
So really, I don't think you have to come to the meeting to that.
You don't have to be on premises to.
Thank goodness.
That'd be a strange.
You don't know when.
No, you just don't.
So forgive me for that.
That was good.
Appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to bring that up. It was in addition to. So.
You want to look at it further. I'm sure you want to look at your budget pretty carefully, I know.
Yeah.
And I agree with, let's give it 1 month and look at the budget.
Sounds great.
Bill, I don't know, and Jeff, I don't know how you feel about that, but I think it's only fair. This is the first time I've heard it, so.
Yeah, and it was too. We didn't. It came just within the last few weeks.
It sounds extremely reasonable for turn.
Yeah, and just if you don't accept it at the point like for September 1, if you decided, for instance, in October that you wanted it, it wouldn't become effective until the beginning of the next month.
Sure. It's just a benefit I think that should be definitely looked at. Something I don't think we've offered in the past to the volunteers who give their time and all of you who give their time to this organization.
Oddly enough, we do lose a member occasionally. We lost one in the line of duty, a fellow from Cedarville here not too long ago down in Snohomish County, Skagit County, excuse me. But it's an unfortunate incident. But I don't know. I think most of us are going to die from some sort of a health or otherwise, but the accidents do happen. But
Sure.
Thank you for allowing me to present that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony. Take it around, buddy. Okay. We cover that one. Anybody have any issues, want to talk about anything? Jeff?
Let me talk about insurance.
Sure.
I know the chief may recall that I was getting concerned that we were not getting the insurance process completed quickly enough. And we were lagging this time of the year last year. And the chief, I think, admitted, don't want to put words around, but he admitted that there could be more assets to bear that would allow us to move this up. And we talked about it back and forth, and it was decided that September 1st was a good date, that everyone agreed they could live with it. And I think I just heard that somebody wants to move it up another month.
No, this is just what Tony described. The main policy is going to be signed today. Okay, so the main policy is signed today. The accidental death, disability, and stuff is a separate, is an individual separate policy on top of that. So we have never lapsed in our district insurance. Our district insurance has always been on policy from September to September of every year. Is that correct, Tony?
September 1, anniversary date.
September 1 is our anniversary date for our current provider. So we have to have this signed in August for it to be in effect September 1, so we don't lapse on district insurance. But the policy that I want to further look at is the additional policy of the death benefits and the disability for our membership. But the main district policy covering the building, everything like that will be signed by you today.
I understand. Good, congratulations.
Yeah.
I know how much work that was to bring.
Well, you guys helped too, so we all did
Chief,
work.
you put a lot of hours into it along with
Well, Tony and I met for coffee for a few hours each,
Yeah.
a few days. So, but yeah, so rest assured that we've never lapsed, we won't lapse, and we'll be, with this insurance policy, I feel we're going to be a stronger district as well.
One thing on the addition of accidental death and policy is to remember that it is a motivational item for our volunteers. So along those lines, I'm in favor of any motivation we can give these volunteers. So, but I know you need to look at your budget, but I just want to voice it.
Well, I like the disability component to that because I have AFLAC at my career position. I have the duck. So the duck follows me around, but I don't seem to get hurt to take advantage of AFLAC. So some people, take advantage of AFLAC.
I'm certainly going to look at it. I find $100 per person excessive. When they look at about insurance, it is a little high. But, I'm only one out of 3. But I'll look at it.
I need to look at my budget too.
That comes out about, $10 a month per volunteer.
30 cents a day.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we'll look at it and we'll put it on the table. Hopefully we'll have enough time. That we talk about it next month. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay with you, Tony?
Indeed.
Can I ask Tony a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is this insurance policy for the staff, for the death benefits and whatnot? Is it possible to create a product that is optional, that gives firefighters who need it for financial planning, or and have them opt in and have others opt out?
And not to take up too much of your time, but indeed, life insurance, group life, individual life insurance. I have a securities license, so I do investments, so we can do variable life insurance. So that there are many, basically there's 5 different types of life insurance, but this being a group, underwritten as a group, with typically no underwriting, you just put your name on the list. So it's available, but I understand your question, Commissioner, and I can certainly provide optional, and in fact, this is an optional coverage that ESIP asked for, they want it on the table, and they want to show that if you don't want it, that you choose not to, and if you do want it, you can choose. And if there are other considerations that you have that would be in addition to the Board of Volunteers Pension Relief Act, which I think it's got a longer name. It's actually the Reserve Police Officers and Volunteer Firefighters Pension and Relief Act. And that indeed is our protection under the labor industries type practice. So if we're hurt at work, we get retrained, and the work being the volunteering. And there's a death benefit there. And all but what it is available, and this is in addition to. So certainly I can provide a complete set of options for individuals. And I actually represent AFLAC, and
Oh, do you?
Like, isn't anything I won't try, right? But indeed, Abstract is payroll deduction, and it's a cafeteria plan, 125S plan, as they know it technically. So you're using smart dollars to pay for it's a supplemental policy that comes in front of your major medical. And so those are, and as you know, the Firefighters Pension Relief Act provides that frontline major medical, and there's a death benefit and some disability there too. So this in particular is relatively low cost, guaranteed issue, no expiry date, except we got to pay for it each year. But it is available, and myself, I'm a cancer survivor. I had cancer back in 2001, and so for me to get every little bit of life insurance, just so you know my feelings about this, it does, I'm not that insurable, so this gives me an opportunity to, if I had that available to me, and just so you know, our fire district actually does buy a $30,000 life insurance policy for our volunteers. And so, and I always embrace that because it's something that I couldn't actually get out on the open market on my own, just because I'm one of those, right? A survivor.
So Tony, let me ask you this. ESIP is not something that we have to do, and I think what Commissioner Wilmot brought up is excellent, that maybe we look into other options that are out there that may be more cost effective other than through ESIP. And I can, if I have your permission, I would like to discuss that with Tony and bring back some options maybe next month that may be cheaper or more relevant to what you would like to see as well in taxpayer dollars spent.
We got it.
Thank you.
Go ahead, thank you. Any more, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Dan?
No, I have nothing else.
Mr. Grubb, you came late, anything from you?
No.
Have a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second all that.
Thanks everybody for being here. So, thank you.